Good morning or afternoon, whenever you're listening to this.
Hello.
Apply the appropriate time. All right, man, this is going incredibly.
Nice.
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It's good to see you. We just got through the holidays. Had a couple hams, had a couple turkeys. I think we also had some pasta in there. I feel like there's increasingly more Christmas pastas going on.
Definitely more pasta.
We had a breakfast for Christmas thing, which was like so satisfying.
Cool.
Dude, yeah, I brought those cinnamon rolls that pop out of the Pillsbury. And, dude, all you do is just, like, put them in the oven. Dude, money moves. They're incredible. I have super low standards for my cinnamon rolls, but those things are delicious, dude.
My wife loves the frou-frou-y, feudal bakery cinnamon rolls that are
I do
like
too.
They're great.
No,
it's
they're
so
great.
close to our house, and I don't know. I love languages. I'm a gift giver, and so I'm like, I get up and go get our cinnamon rolls or something like that.
Get the Sennies, dude.
Yeah, it's
Love
good
it.
stuff.
Love it, man.
Anyway, bass guitars and stuff.
Bass guitars and stuff, man. It's been a minute since we got on like a little solo pod. We just had a new friend, Eliana, on. So if you haven't listened to that episode, you got to go back. She's incredible, very cool.
She was wonderful.
Just cool, different perspective. Like we usually have, I don't know, we don't usually have a type, but her perspective as like a LA, as the session, as like an internet presence, as she's hired, she's doing her own thing. Like she's really covering the bases. So it's cool to hear that perspective on the industry.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes you and I live such specific bass lives where we don't get to play a ton of originals of our own doing.
Yeah, and
lately.
we're so close to Nashville, and there's just like a certain genre we end up getting hired in.
It's different. So, yeah, dude, lots happened, I guess, even around Christmas time. The biggest update for me is that I played the Grand Ole Opry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Insane. They treated me like a king. I'm super grateful.
Grand Ole King.
Dude, oh, yeah. I'm super grateful for that opportunity, man. It's ridiculous to, like, it's funny because people were like, dude, the Opry, man, you doing the Opry, and it was like wasn't even sinking in with me. And then you like show up, there's like the back artist entrance that I'm sure plenty of you guys have played as well, and it's just cool to stand there and see like your buddies post pictures from this entrance, and you see your friends on the stage, and you see your heroes on the stage, and then I'm standing there next to that old wooden circle, and you're just like,
nice,
man, that's a moment. So yeah, it was dude, it was like you and Red Rocks. It's like you're just standing out. Man, we played. So if you don't know,
trying to soak it all in.
Yeah, if you don't know what the Opry is, it's a variety show. So like, it's I think 10 or more different acts, and they have like a host, and they throw it to the acts, and so we do 2 songs, like
especially. Popular with like classic country, classic American, old school bluegrass dudes. There was these guys, the Riders in the Sky, that were on that have been there forever, and it's these old dudes just dripped out in like these like satin, like looking like Buck Owens and his Buckaroos, and like the hats, and like these guys are just like fly old dudes, and they're hilarious. And like, did you ever watch Hee Haw growing up? No,
dude. Well, my grandparents love Hee Haw, so it's like that. It's like the Opry, except on TV, and 50 times as kitschier. It's just but it's like tons of talent, like Roy Clark and all. Like, it's like
and lots of comedy.
Oh, it's old school funny, and they always had great musical guests, and it's cool to see it. So it's like that, but just like it's very old school and proper. So it's
one of those bucket lists, like especially around here, around the country scene or Nashville area. Like Grand Ole Opry is one of the ones. Ryman is the other one.
Yeah, dude.
There's many others, but those are kind of the legendary ways to go. So you walked on. They had a rig for you.
They did. We actually. It was white gloving, dude. We showed up. Walk in that cool entrance, put some stuff down. We actually got a real sound check, which not a lot of people do. Like, there's like a back room that a lot of people just like kind of run through with the band, and their band is so professional, so kind. The steel player that was behind me is the single best steel player, probably, that I've ever encountered.
Nice.
Just phenomenal. And he's the nicest, complimentary guy. It's just so cool. But they had this big Aguilar. It was fine. It's good.
Yeah.
It's very that sound. It's bone dry, clean. Dude, I walk out, they're like, here it is, it's on, set it how you want it. They hand me the cable. So, I mean, dude, I'm everything. I just walk out with a bass.
Plugging it
in. They got Petersons on the side, so you can tune it. It's just 2 songs, so I had a Snark, like just in case Snark tuner.
Yeah.
I got some buddies that when they play, they bring their whole board, and I was like, man, I don't need it. I think I'm just gonna go and just make it work. I'm never really a stickler for my tone. It's always changing. I'm cool with different things. So I said, I'm gonna make it work. So I went out there and used their just a tone hammer, and it was fine. It was fine. It was kind of midsy with my P with flats is all I did, and that was a good call because it's funny. You can see the wave of basses, that the way it ebbs and flows, because I walk out and he's like, oh, what you got going on here? I was like, that's just an American P bass. And he was like, nice. I really love the classics, man. That's a good choice. And I was like, I bet people are bringing some funny stuff in here lately, you know? As the wave of basses go, you know, when you get the actives and you get the things, right. and then for him to be like, hey, P with flats, that's pretty cool. It's funny that was like notable for him, but yeah, man, you know, went out, played our 2 songs, dude, for the first whole song, just smiling ear to ear, just cheesing, like, this is ridiculous, this is crazy. So
they provide in-ears, right?
They do. They offer in-ears and wedges, and my buddy was like, take the wedge. So I took the wedge.
Sweet.
Drummer plays to a click. He counts everybody in with his mouth and sticks. He'll just 1, 2, 3, and it's like
nice.
Old school. That band nailed it, dude. They nailed it.
We've talked about this before. An artist doesn't really get to bring their band. They can bring up to like a couple key members.
Yeah, we were told 2, and most of my buddies that are on it's usually like the artist, and they can bring like two band members. So we brought me on bass, and then we brought a guitar player, and just crushed our 2 songs. And it's so funny because 2 songs is quick.
Yeah.
It's quick. So you blink and it's kind of over, and then we're just hanging out. So dude, it was awesome. It's always cool to be grateful and to soak in that moment. And it's just so funny because like 2 days before it, I'm like playing in a dive bar in town in Lexington.
That's how it goes,
and it's just like, man, this is what it's all about. I love the full scope of what we get to do. It's cool, man. And then, like I said, to even juxtapose that with, I've been doing a ton of like bar stuff, been doing a bunch of fill-ins recently. I played in the middle, literally like a mile deep into a field at an ATV park, filling in for this cool artist. And I'm just like, wow, we are really covering the bases here.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
Oh my gosh.
Got a comedian on the hook today.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, no, overall, super cool. Super fun.
This weird mental thing happens if you're not careful, like with all the, once you do something cool, you have to like really pay attention and then not like get full of yourself, or at the same time get like down on yourself where you're like, I just accomplished this thing and now I'm about to play this gig for $150 in a bar, or I'm about, you know, like the music mental health stuff is really weird. It's like extreme highs and extreme lows.
Oh yeah, dude.
Constantly.
I mean, because then I guess 2 weeks after that, I was on Broadway doing 4-hour shifts a couple days in a row, and you're just like, this could not be more opposite. And you know, I think it's cool. I think it's really cool that we get to live these, like, you get it all. Like, I don't ever have to miss, like, you know, when I'm coming up and I'm in high school, we're playing in somebody's basement. Like, I could probably still figure that out if I wanted to.
Yeah.
And I think you guys did a house show this last tour, right?
Yeah, we did do a house tour, which was a lot of fun in the middle of it.
Keeping that alive, man. It's cool that we get the whole spectrum for ourselves. So now I love it, and it's
that
cool.
Doesn't, if you're a working musician, some of that doesn't ever actually change. Like, you get on a good tour for a while. You get on this for a while. You get on whatever. And then, like, in betweens, you're taking other normal gigs because you have to, or really because you want to. Dude, like, I'm getting to play with my friend's band called Sympathy Jar, and it's like shoegaze, like
it's awesome,
metal adjacent.
It's like
heavy noise rock kind of thing.
Yeah, it's heavier,
very affected. Everything is like very wall of sound.
Yeah, his rig is cool, by the way. If y'all are old school amp people, he's got this vintage Sun. Yeah, it's pretty sweet, Caleb's dude.
Got a cool setup.
He's got good tone selections, and it's all about just interesting. He does it well, so it's cool. Yeah.
It's nice to do it and to play. So, local band shows are a lot different than bars. Like you go to bars and sometimes you might be like, oh yeah, I made whatever amount of money on this gig and tips or whatever. Like original music venues, if they're not doing someone who could sell out, the place is like maybe mostly empty. And that's just how original music is. Yeah. There's something like kind of beautiful about being there, playing original songs. You're clearly not doing it for the money.
Yeah.
Like you're doing it because you love it and you want to hang out. And in my opinion, that is the best way to meet community people.
It's so cool. Like, and it's
especially other bands.
Yeah, man. It's like I said, it keeps that. It's for me, it's like that childhood dream alive. Like of what I fell in love with playing music, of like you get the highs and the lows, and some, like I was saying, it's like sometimes you're looking around and you're like 5 bands deep into a 7-band bill. It's 2 a.m. You're an hour and a half away from home, and you're just like, this is what I signed up for. Yep. It might suck in the moment, but you look back and you're like, nah, that's pretty cool.
You need to mentally choose to have fun, and then it is.
Yeah, because when you're with your boys or your girls, like when you're with your crew, you're just like, nah, this is what it's all about, dude. Yep. It's funny because this last couple days ago, I took that filling gig at the ATV park. I'm in the back of this 15-passenger van, just laying on that back bench, just getting shaken coming up. We're coming over the Blue Ridge in North Carolina, and I'm just like, this is what I wanted. Like, this is it. Like, it's cool to be able to, I'm telling you, it's ins and outs of 2023 and 2024. In 2024, gratefulness is in, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like being super appreciative of your friends and your situation, because man, it's cool like that. You just like, man, we literally middle of a muddy field. I brought my amp and cranked it. Worst monitor mix I've had in probably a decade, and I still just like, yes, I would do that again this weekend, dude. Yeah, it's cool.
I think we talked about it before, but the attitude thing is so huge. Like, you want to be someone cool to work with. You want to be someone who's having fun. Yeah. Don't like, if you're having a bad day, you don't have to always fake it, but like, be someone that you are seizing the moment. You're not too good for it, because you never will be too good for it. Because then you'll just like wake up one day and have no friends. Nobody will care.
Yeah.
Or you'll only have friends when you're doing something cool, and when you're not doing something cool, those people aren't around.
Yeah.
So having friendships and making music and making art, like, that's what it's about, man. So
no, I agree. Yeah, I know. I like the motivational podcast we're going today, dude. I'm like fired up. It always
gets there, but
I'm fired up now, dude. No, I'm with you. I might have mentioned this in another podcast, but I was like leaving Scoreboard, which is like a bar down in Nashville, where a lot of people, like older crews, seem to do bus call. We were hanging out there. A buddy was playing. That's a Kentucky boy. And I was there watching him and walking out, and this guy was walking in, mono bag and a little combo, and I was like, I think that's his name's like Matthew Maxwell, is on Instagram, but it's Luke Combs' bass player, and I was like, I think that's Luke Combs' bass player playing a 10-2, and I'm like, these guys are literally touring arenas in Australia at the time, or like had just finished that, and he's walking in to play his 4-hour shift, and I was like, that's so cool, man. Yeah. That's called integrity. That's called love of the game.
Yep.
Like, man, this guy's keeping it alive. And he might have dreaded it, but he was doing it. And I was like,
sure, maybe, I don't know.
I was like, this guy is keeping the spirit. I mean, he might have loved it. I like
part
to
of the culture.
He's got a bass clef on his arm. So I'm like, I know this dude loves it. He's a monster player. You should all check him out. But yeah, dude, motivational 2024. Gratefulness is in.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
That's my 20. I want to play increasingly more original music. That's my, like, I probably can't say yes to a lot of 4-hour cover or whatever. I kind of have a band that I do that with when we have gigs, and I have to focus on other things. But like, when my friend calls me and they're like, hey, we're gonna play at this small bar, for us it's gonna be like Green Lantern or something in Louisville. I would love to play the Green Lantern. Can you play with us? Our set is 45 minutes. Those are the ones that I'm trying really hard to be like, I would love to do that.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I respect that.
And I even have to do a couple rehearsals for that. And maybe even I play off of charts if I'm having a crazy week or something.
Yeah.
It's just fun. Do it because it's fun.
Dude, and it puts you in a different spot than you usually are. Like, I think it's so good as a musician to be like, all right, well, what am I going to put on this board? Like, what amp am I going to bring for this? Because it's, like my usual gig is in-ears. And I just bring a DI on a board, a tiny board with a DI. But for this thing, they were like, it's wedges and we want to feel you. And I was like, I'll bring the stack. Like, it's awesome, dude. It just makes me be a different player. And it's like dusting off the shelves, man. Like, you're like, oh yeah, you got to do it every once in a while.
Yeah. Cool. And like, maybe they don't know what chords they're playing, or maybe they're doing something.
What key? We don't know.
Yeah. Or they're playing it in a pretty non-conventional way, and you're like, I need to be exposed to this creativity because I get in a rut. You don't want to play things like only bass players think they should be played. I know, I don't know if I've said this before or not, but like I've heard people throw this around in studios, and I totally agree with it. Like, a lot of these people would rather hire another producer who can play an instrument really well than hire a crazy specialist bass player. Because if that bass player has the inability to think like a producer, they're playing things a bass player should play and not the things that should be in a song that works in a mix that's simple. So that's, that's been weighing on me a lot, where it's just like I need to play creatively and not too much like, oh, I'm on, a bass player has to play this or these couple of notes or what. Like, it's just play a part. We talked to Eliana a lot about like guitar players who play bass. It's the same kind of like those fun riffs that come out of not always having a bass player mindset is really cool.
Yeah, dude. It's cool to just be putting yourself intentionally in spots that you might not have ended up in, or you might maybe not comfortable with. It's cool, man. That's really cool to take a different style gig.
Yep. So pedals and stuff. I have I just got this Horrothia one. It's called Horrothia Type 1, a chorus pedal. I saw Hondo on YouTube play through one. I needed a new chorus pedal. I've liked this EHX bass clone, microclone, bass clone. And it's got a little crossover switch so it doesn't chorus your low end. I've been obsessed with that pedal for a long time. It's super cheap.
Fun thing. He sold it to me. I sold it back to him over the course of for like 4 years.
I've been through 2 of them now, and it seems like they always eventually break or go noisy.
They go really
noisy. So I can't get away with how noisy it got. So I wanted to try this chorus pedal that's kind of based off of an old Boss, but
he went premium.
Yeah, it sounds really cool. I think we'll probably do a video on it. Yeah, it has a very specific kind of chorus sound. It's not crazy at any point. It's pretty subtle. It does not have the low crossover thing that I wanted.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really feel like it's messing with my low end.
Dude, and even if it does, I think more and more when I buy like drives or wet effects, I think I'm okay with that. I think I'm not as concerned about maintaining the full integrity of the scope of the signal. In some ways, I'm like, if I like the flavor that like, a Klon style or like a Tube Screamer style is putting on a bass, I'm cool with it. Like I think I'm good with that. We always talk about, but I'm super focused on the mids these days, and these drives are just bringing out a lot of mids, and I'm like, these are just making me punchier and stand out, and that's kind of what I wanted from the drive anyway. It was a little more punch and stand out. So I think I'm changing in how I feel about all of it. I don't necessarily find myself wanting to send a clean signal always and a dirty signal always. I'm like, I think I'm good with what the concoction that it makes, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I like that it's called, this chorus pedal is called Type 1. It has one knob. And
it's like you get what you get.
Yeah, I increasingly like things that know what they are, and it does one thing. You like it or you don't, and if you don't, you move on.
Yeah.
I got to talk to the maker just a little bit on Instagram, and there's kind of a possibility that there could be a low filter option in the future to knock towards the low end,
like a dip switch.
Yeah, I would hope so, or like an internal switch or something.
People
would be
do that
cool.
where they put that little switchboard on the top of the pedal, like a bunch of little white things.
Yep,
that'd be all right.
I would love that. I would probably re-buy the pedal just to have that feature, but it is super cool. Has a really cool sound. Has an internal gain boost because chorus kind of cancels out your own sound, and so it like appears quieter because it's just phasing in and out, and that's kind of that cool chorusy sound, not flange, but chorus. Yeah. Anyway,
nice,
fun new pedals, fun stuff.
Yeah, very cool. I think another thing that you've been doing while I've been playing a bunch of bars and gigging out, you've been in the studio a couple times. Yeah. So you were down Mountain
Art Center.
What kind of gear did you take? Well, like is country-ish stuff, country-esque.
It's kind of been Americana. Like country rock. The first one was like more like low key alternative, not really country. Yeah, man, I want to do that as much as I can.
Yeah.
So I've been bringing my B15. We've been.
What year is that again?
70s, mid 70s, maybe. It's a Magnavox era, and so it has the low switch or the deep switch on it. It's the exact same circuit, except it has a deep switch and it has a bright cap options that I usually leave off, but it just depends. Sometimes I use the deep switch.
Cool.
Sounds good, and value wise, they're a lot cheaper than the old 60s ones with the checkers. I think it sounds amazing.
Nice. Did you took the full board?
No. When I go, I take my Noble, and I probably take a couple pedals in a bag.
Do they take the Noble as well as a mic'd B15?
Yep.
And do they use
usually blending them?
As that say,
he uses the amp for the top end, and these old B15, I have done my absolute best to make it not rattle, to secure everything. If you push the volume really at all, they start to kind of fart out and like rattle a little bit, which is in some ways cool. So I'm just really careful with the volume on the B15, and then my Noble is kind of my typical sound, and he seems to always be using the amp for the top end at least, and then the bass, the Noble for the low end. And I'll also say this, in my in-ears when I'm recording all this stuff, I'm hearing a 50-50 blend, and that amp sounds really cool. I didn't really get it, per se, until I was blending it in, and then I'm like, man, this top end's super cool. I'm usually leaving the EQ where it is and keeping that volume down to where it's not rattling or anything like that. And the cool thing too, like I play a 5-string in the studio, especially a lot. On these sessions, I honestly, sometimes it's a different bass every song. But with the way he's blending the amp and the low end, when I hit my low B, he's hearing the DI signal because that amp does not go nearly as low as you'd expect a lot of bass in recordings. Yeah. So that has been really cool to experience. I'm not like overdriving it really. I don't think it sounds good when you overdrive it because of the speaker attached to it. So there, I see a scenario where I have a volume boost pedal in front of the amp so that I'm clipping the preamp and then can still keep that volume low.
Nice.
If you guys ever get in a position with a B15, I've got a FET 47 made by, United Studio Technologies. It's kind of they use new old stock parts from Fairchild, and have recreated a FET 47. Sounds wonderful. My thing has been, and I didn't discover it, Brendan, the engineer and producer, discovered it. Don't mic it right on there. Like usually you'd go a little bit off the cone and you'd put it like pretty much right on the grill. Give it like a fist's worth of distance if you're in an isolation booth. If isolation isn't your issue, give it about a fist of distance and then put the mic there. Or we've been putting the mic right where the cone is, but a fist away.
Interesting.
And it sounds really good.
Nice.
And then we used his real U47, or it's a new Telefunken 47. That's a $10,000 microphone, and it sounded really good.
That's awesome.
Really,
dude.
really good.
So when you might have said this when you went down, what basses did you take?
Oh, I didn't say it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I've been taking my RS, which is like a 60s P bass copy.
It's a P bass with flats.
Yep.
It's a classic.
Yep. I'm thinking about putting up rounds on that. I don't know. I need to. I'm getting less happy with that bass, and I think I just don't like the pickup. The bass itself feels amazing. And then I bring my BB5000, which is kind of my mainstay, because it's got an amazing P-bass sound. It's got 5 strings if the tuning gets weird or anything like that. And then its 2 pickup sound is really my favorite. That's like my kind of tone. And then I will bring my hollow body, my old K.
I figured you'd
K bass, depending on the subject matter.
Out in the hills, dude, they sometimes want that old stuff.
Well, I've done it more for the indie stuff.
Nice.
Or the singer-songwriter, plucky, there's other strings.
Very cool.
That has been a really amazing sound.
Nice, dude.
The for the country stuff, or really for like the funky stuff, I've had to do more of that Jamerson thing on a few songs, which is not always my strength, and I don't know. These just ended up going pretty magical, where I'm really moving, like just moving. That the Yamaha has been really insane, because I've been able to go low and just keep it tight, and so I have 2 like really moving funk songs. I'm excited to see them come out. But yeah, a lot of studio stuff. I want to do as much of that as possible. I'm practicing drums a lot in my personal studio, and just trying to do more and more in my own studio, and then do as much session work as I possibly can.
Nice, dude. That's very, very cool. So, you did make another purchase recently.
Oh yeah,
and there will be a video on it, so we won't give it away.
Yeah,
we won't give it away too much. You can tell.
Oh yeah, I can tell. I got your permission.
You can tell.
All right. I bought a Gibson Thunderbird.
That's it. That's all you get. No, I'm just kidding.
It's awesome. I think the biggest thing is I really lucked out, because I've played ones that are not as good as this one is. It's a 2014. It's not like it's vintage or something.
Yeah.
It is 8 pounds, which is amazing.
It's pretty slick.
It goes a very long way in combating a lot of the things people complain about. So I am not saying they're all this good. I'm just saying this one, for me personally, I've got an opinion on, and you should watch the video.
Yes, watch the video. But yeah, dude, no, as we come into the new year, any wrecks, dude?
Oh man,
yeah. What have you been listening to?
What have you been on? Think about this,
because obviously you and I have been
got to pull out the phone.
Very like topically listening to a ton of old Kings of Leon.
Yeah, I've been really, really hitting the old Kings of Leon, and that's probably fueled the Thunderbird purchase.
If you guys like that kind of bluesier rock thing, you've got to listen to the first 2 Kings of Leon records, Aha Shake Heartbreak and Youth and Young Manhood.
Yeah,
they are so dry, raw. The bass lines are like,
they're so melodic,
odd, so odd, and they just everything like Kings of Leon is like 2 guitars that are very prominent.
Yep.
And 1 bass that is super moving. Like, he's not a hold it down. I mean, he does, but he's not like a sit here and play my note kind of guy. He's like up the fretboard. He's using pedals. Like he's all over the place.
He has a integral part to every song. It feels like, especially in the like Because of the Times era.
Also a great
favorite record of theirs. I think
the kind of second or the 3rd and 4th and 5th, as they started moving, they became more in that like indie moving realm. But the first records are literally like weird blues rock,
moving blues.
It's just weird blues rock, and his voice.
I'm not someone who usually likes that, and there is an energy.
Yes.
Go listen to them if you haven't.
That's the
what's
big
the album? The
Youth and Young Manhood?
Youth and Young Manhood.
And Aha Shake.
And Aha Shake. Those are insane.
Yes.
If you're not into that, listen to Because of the Times. Dude. That's my favorite, because they get a little bit more polished. It's kind of as they become more popular.
It's still gritty.
Yeah, well, right. It sounds more intentional and less like we got to get this energy out right now.
It's less fun. Garage rock.
Right.
It's less garage rock.
Man, it's so cool. Jared, follow Will.
Dude.
Man.
It's cool stuff.
That would be, hey, that's a bucket list interview if we ever get that one. I don't think that'll ever happen, but maybe we'll try. What have I been listening to? Okay, super quick. Kind of been on a King Gizzard kick.
I go in waves, dude. It's hard to stay on that forever because I'm like, I don't think
they move so fast too,
dude. They're pumping what, 2 records a year?
No, like 4 or 5 records a year,
and
sometimes.
They're deep.
Yeah,
if you guys aren't into fantastic. King Gizzard, they're Australian.
Yes,
Australian. Wild, there for a couple albums they were like, we're super into like the Middle Eastern tones and scales, so they were using microtones, and you're just like,
it's like what? Atonal, and
but then the other stuff is like sounds like kind of first record Tame Impala, like fuzzy rock and roll,
bit,
and it's kind of jammy, and there's a lot of them in it, and you're just like, they cover every base. It's such a musical level that is not talked about.
Then they'll do an indie album.
Yes.
Then they'll do a metal album.
Yes.
And they are all fantastic.
Their riffs hit, like, it's just really cool. Funny. King Gizzard. I might need to check out some of that recently because, like I said,
back into it.
I'll just like pop in for 2 albums and I'll pop out for like 6 months, and I'll like pop back in for an album and pop out.
Yeah. So Molly Parton has an album called Sacramented. I'm really into that. Parton. If you like low key kind of indie, female singer, songwritery a little bit, but cool production. Pop stuff, Caroline Polachek.
I love Caroline Polachek. Did Caleb get you on Caroline Polachek?
No, but we can like. Well, I guess he could have, and I not realized it.
Caleb is the singer of that band. He filled in called Sympathy Jar.
He loves her,
dude. Pop music wise, fantastic voice, production value through the roof. I'm so into it.
It's almost like mind melting how far forward it is.
Yes.
Where you're like, wow, we haven't even gotten here in pop music yet. And then I've been listening to a lot of David Bowie Black Star. That's a tall drink of water.
Dude.
Right there.
Yes. That's stuff that I need to go back and hit again. Because when I go throwback, I never go in that like sort of like glamorous vein. Like I usually go in.
This is like dark jazz, subliminal.
I just when I throw back, I go straight to like classic rock. Like when I'm going back in that, I never hit David Bowie.
My last,
which I recognize he is kind of in the classic rock thing, but not.
He's definitely in the classic rock, but he's
in the vein. But back then,
classic rock meets art rock.
I was to say, but back then,
highbrow a little bit sometimes.
It's like putting Talking Heads in classic rock. It's like now I guess they're on classic rock radio, but in the moment, no one would have put them in the same group as Aerosmith.
Right?
No one.
Totally.
So that kind of thing.
Last Rec is One for Jackie, Rhett Madison. Wow, that's a really great album.
Nice.
Kind of low key alternative rock at moments.
Nice.
Anyway, it's good. I listen to a lot of that kind of stuff. What about you?
Dude, I mean, you got me back on that Kings Leon. I'll have to pull it up.
Kings Leon, man.
I will say
it was really cool to hate on Kings Leon for a moment.
It was so cool.
And it's like, can we all not like go back and realize that the songs you were making fun of freaking rule? Like, dude, they got played a lot, but like, is that not the end goal of like every music project you've ever had?
Yeah, dude.
So I'm sorry they did well for themselves and continue to,
and they changed in a cool way.
Yeah,
they changed in a cool way. Yeah. So I respect anybody like that. But dude, so I've been listening to this band. My buddy put me on called Hotline T&D, and it's like super aggressive, like garagey.
Nice.
Like I like rough around the edges right now, but then on a completely inverse side. I'm like kind of in a triangle right now, actually, but with me doing a lot of these fill-in things, I've been listening to a ton of old country. Mm-hmm. So I've been back like neck deep in like Waylon and like Conway Twitty and like dude, even further back stuff of just like really, really fun stuff. But a lot of these Broadway guys, they'll hit stuff that came out yesterday and stuff that came out literally 60 years ago. And it's so good for me because I just really didn't get a ton of that old country or 90s country, which I came to love.
Yeah.
So, just hitting some dude, I kind of like re-fell in love with some songs. Like, do you know Lost and Found by Brooks and Dunn? It's just a great song, dude.
I don't know.
It's fantastic, and I've just been in that country thing. But then on a weird third part of the triangle, which you probably heard the other day at New Year's, I've been super into this like European jazz house thing. I know, dude. You might laugh. It's the vibiest vibe, and it's made me really think about the combination of instruments and beats, because they're literally putting upright over top of these like Abercrombie house beats. They're like these like very like German like. They're just interesting, just really, really unconventional for what I'm hearing in current American modern music. And it's been cool for me to have that. Hey guys, Editor Nick here, jumping you to the end because Logic decided to kaput, which is fine. You know what? Things happen. We're but mortals. Thanks for bearing with us. Let me jump you to the end. Back to you, Carson.
Well, we had a critical error, so we are picking up where we were talking about music.
Yeah, no, I was just rounding out some recs, but anyways, we always want to hear your recommendations. So if you got something that you're into, pedal-wise, bass-wise, whatever-wise, show-wise, movie-wise.
Let us know.
Yeah, we want to hear it.
We look, we respond.
Oh, he's watching, dude.
Oh, we be watching.
He's a hawk on those comments. No, I'm just kidding. Well, kind of. He's quick, but yeah, no, let us know. We appreciate you guys coming and hanging out. It's super kind that people keep coming back around. So
yeah, it's been awesome. Thank you so much. See you.